Hi guys, so welcome to the show. It's good to see you guys. You guys are calling in from lovely Tehran. Maybe we can start. You two can both introduce each other, introduce yourselves, and then when you're done introducing each other, can you tell us how you're doing, obviously, and give us kind of a local update as to what's happening. You guys are in Tehran, and then I'm curious, just for the sake of simplicity and not like interrupting you guys too much, because I do that obviously, but maybe share something that surprised you in this last 3 weeks, something that really you've noticed happen in this time. Obviously, it's a crazy time in the history of Iran. Probably one of the craziest. So I'm more interested in listening to you guys and hearing what you've sort of seen and learned, and what surprised you, what maybe disappointed you or enraged you. I don't know. So I'll let you guys take over.
Hello, Sina. Thank you for inviting us on your show. Podcast it was before, I remember. Now we are on the video. I'm Sara. I'm a postdoctoral fellow at Tehran University of Tehran, and my research is basically focused on the history of colonialism and imperialism in Iran. I'm working in historical geography and political geography, and it is indeed very special time. Fascinating stuff are happening around us. But maybe first Taha introduces himself, and then we can talk about how it felt.
Hi there, good to be with you. My name is Taha. I'm a researcher in international political economy and development studies. My focus is on sanctions, imperialist hybrid war, and sovereign and self-reliant development in West Asia, and particularly in Iran. And I've lived for 16 years in Europe, and I have been back to the country only 3 months ago. And meanwhile, I didn't come to my country, and this is a bit crazy because first, in January, we had this, the political unrest and what I call reactionary insurrection. And of course, a disastrous incident. And following that, this imposed war by US-led imperialism and Zionist regime. So it's a bit crazy to be back in country, but I'm glad that I'm here.
In Farsi, we have the saying that you stepped in and it was good luck or bad luck. So Taha stepped in and it was just
sorry about that.
Yeah, you waited until the 3 craziest months of Iranian history for probably like centuries to show up after 16 years. You say, oh, what did I miss? So exactly. I guess that's a good way. That's a good way of starting. Maybe just reflect. Each of you take an opportunity, take this chance to reflect. Okay, we can start with January, but I feel like we should start more with this war, the Ramadan war, it's being called. And then we can kind of reflect back, because it's been crazy for me, and I live far away from Iran, so I can't even imagine what it's been like for you. Like I really, because I remember when the currency stuff started, and that was like late December, and I remember like getting the news, like flashes and stuff, and I was like, what's this now? Like what's going on with? And then it feels like it's been, and that feeling of like what now is still going on. And I live here. I'm experiencing this on my phones, so I can't even imagine what it's like for you guys. So once again, Iranians, I want you to hijack this podcast. You're good at hijacking things. So just take over the show and just tell us, like, just you two talk to each other even. Like, what have you seen? Crazy stuff, normal stuff. How are people coping? And then I have questions. But take your time.
Okay, Sina. I can start from the first day when we heard the bombs around us in the neighborhood. We were sitting here and we were planning the week because it was Saturday, and we were planning which papers are we going to really edit this week, and what stuff should we take care of. But we were also expecting the war to erupt at some point. And when we heard the bombs, we just put the notebook down and we said it started. And then there are 2 elementary schools around us, and we heard children screaming, hearing the sound of the bombs. And suddenly you could hear that the parents are trying to reach these schools, not only in our neighborhood, but in every neighborhood, to just pick up their kids. And then you hear people are really worried running the streets. And that's how it started. I was in Iran during the 12-day war of aggression back in June. Also, I was here. So for me, it was like, maybe it's going to be like that. What does it mean? Like, there are some, they are going to attack us. We are going to attack them back, like defend ourselves. And in a scale that it was about the war in June. I think maybe Taha can explain how he felt for the first time, hearing this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, maybe I can give some context of my own activities before arriving back in my country, together with Sara and with another friend of us, Helia Dutaghi. We co-founded a research center at the University of Tehran, which is called Resistance, Sovereignty and Development. And we were going to hold an international conference in February. That was our plan. And the conference was about genocide. And we just conceptualized genocide as a cognitive turning point, as a turning point of obviously geopolitically, but also a cognitive turning point. So it was pretty much clear to us that we're living in a new era, right? The era that Ali Kadri, Prabhat Patnaik, and some other authors called that, and the era that the genocide is on the table for the whole region. So, and of course, it was we had already this 12-day imposed war on us. So we were expecting that. And unfortunately, we were also expecting something that happened in January. And so we were warning. We were among those who were critical of certain economic policies. And we were warning that this will be weaponized against the country, and could be a pretext for another phase of military aggression. That unfortunately happened. So we were not surprised. But I mean, as Sara said, I've been living in Germany back then when the 12-day war happened. So it was very, very difficult to live in a country that you cannot even express genuinely solidarity with your own country against the Zionist regime. You would be immediately labeled as anti-Semite. And I mean, you know how the
Germany,
yeah, exactly. And at the same time, I've been living in 2 completely different spaces, right? I mean, just imagine I'm in Munich, people going to, I don't know, to the lake, everyone happy, and I'm at work and I'm watching my Twitter and, and seeing the bombs dropping and exploding in Tehran. This was a disaster, right? I mean, and so I told myself that next phase, next war, I have to be in Iran. I cannot even take this. And actually, one of my friends who were also living in Berlin, in Germany, he came to the country, I mean, during the war,
You mean the June War?
Yeah, the June War. So I couldn't make it. So anyway, so when this war started, first thing was that, oh God, I'm really thankful. I'm glad that I'm here together with my people here in Tehran. And despite the fact that, of course, it was the first time, I mean, after my childhood during the Iraq-Iran war, it was the first time I was really listening to the explosion and then the scary voice of the schoolgirls just next door. And then it was also the feeling that, okay, we were expecting this and we should resist. And I wanted to be among the people to see how the people react. And yeah, maybe I can stop here and then Sara can continue.
Yeah, so that we just we hear the bombs. I go like outside, talk to the neighbors. This time, no one. They were saying that we are not going to leave the city, because all of us who experienced the June War, we thought that it's going to be similar. So, like in June War, they were mostly like what is pahbod in English?
Drones.
Yeah, like
drones,
mostly
yeah,
drones. Yeah, and this time hearing jets, it was a different story. But people on the first day, they thought it's going to be like the last time. So they were saying we are not going to leave the city. So we decided to go to the city center and see if there are already gatherings, demonstrations, or can we contact people and see each other and see what we can do. We went to the city center, talked to some fellows about what should be done and what could be done. We were thinking of many things, like you're overwhelmed in the first hours, of course. And then we heard there is going to be a gathering at Palestine Square. So we went there, and maybe it was a calming moment to be with all these people. They're chanting for like the resistance of the country against the imperialism and the Zionism on Palestine Square, you know. So it was maybe a moment of calm, and then we saw a cycler who had like Iranian flag just going on different streets in the city center in support of the country. But maybe the most devastating moment was the second day in early morning. I think it was around 4:30 that I woke up, and maybe you outside the country also experiencing this. Whenever you open your eyes, you check your phone to see what's happening now, what happened in the last moment. So, and then I saw that the leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, is assassinated, and that was.
Sorry for interrupting. I think you forgot something, and very important, because the first day in the evening, we heard some people were celebrating. It was like clapping and celebrating something. It was crazy. Here we live in the western part of Tehran, and we were like confused. I mean, this was expected, but we didn't know what happened or what was the news. Most likely, the news was on this Iran International, this Tel Aviv-based Farsi language media. Then we checked everything, and then we realized that the Israelis, they claimed that they assassinated the supreme leader, and then this happened the day after.
Yes, we don't have satellite TV. In fact, we don't have any TV, so we didn't know what these people are like chanting for, really. And it was a chilling moment, really, like what's going on here. I know that it was not the case in many neighborhoods in Tehran, and also not the case in many, many small towns and cities, but geographically it's different, like also inside Tehran, the neighborhoods, and also across the country. Yeah, so that was the moment that I felt, I think, defeated, so to say, because in the past 2-3 years, we were, like, at least in my opinion, the Iranian state has different fractions. Like, it's a state formed by different groups, like pursuing different interests of different economic groups and other socio-political forces in the country. And we always thought that the resistance in the region, not only in Iran, resistance in the region is very much dependent on like the leader of Iran, the supreme leader, and the forces that he is somehow in direct connection with, not the government, not the parliament. So I always thought in the past 2-3 years, if we do not have the leader of Iran, the resistance is going to be weakened and then defeated. So that was not only about being like sad for, like, you know, a figure, but mostly about the feeling of defeat for the resistance and for Iran after the revolution, and for the sovereignty and all these attempts that we had to be independent and be, you know, in a position to colonial and imperial relations in the region. But things changed for me quickly. We woke, like I told Taha, we have to go out. We went out to the city center, and we were in the sea of people mourning for the leader. And in that moment, I was thinking, oh no, maybe I was mistaken. The country's strength, the resistance strength is not upon a person. Of course, political figures are like decisive, but this was the people. These people are the backbone of the Iranian revolution and also the resistance in the region. Yeah, maybe you can.
Exactly. I mean, I was also surprised, to be honest, but by like observing how resilient the people is, and also not only the people. Also, I should add that the Islamic Republic of Iran, because I was pretty much worried that, first of all, most likely the next war, I mean this after 12th-day war, it will be started with assassination of the supreme leader. And it was not only me, like so many people were talking about that. And we were very much worried that after that could be like a disastrous moment, which could undermine the command system, command center of the Islamic Republic, because like we were informed that during the 12-day war, it was the supreme leader personally who reorganized the command and control center in less than 12 hours, and by replacing the commanders, right? But this time he was gone, and yeah, we were very much worried about that. But it was, I think, less than a few hours that we responded this time. It was really crazy. Still,
40 minutes. 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Microphone best.
Sorry?
I think you have to repeat. Maybe I was closing.
Yeah, I thought a few hours at least, but okay, 40 minutes. But something that surprised me, not only the day after like the war started, during this morning, and like when we were among so many people in the Inqilab or Revolution Square, right? So many people were there. But following that, every day, every evening, all the squares, all the like the city centers were full of people chanting Allah Akbar, chanting we want revenge, chanting we will continue. It was really, really unbelievable. At the same time, I remember, for instance, one time I was there, the air defense systems were working just there, and then there was this massive explosion nearby, and people were even like reacting stronger than before, right? Calling Haydar, Haydar, it was crazy. But I should add that another part of the people also surprised me. Even after the war started, the country is being bombed. Among my own family members, relatives, there were some people, not so many, but some people who were happy. This was, we didn't have this. I don't remember this. This is something new. And okay, following this January political unrest, we knew that the society is divided, right? But just imagine supporting Israeli regime, Netanyahu and Trump, and this is crazy, right? Still there are some people. Today, yesterday I was talking with some people. Actually arguing among my circle of relatives. They're supporting Netanyahu. This is crazy. After Minab massacre, after so many atrocities that we witnessed during these days, still there are some. So they also surprised me. I thought, to be fair, I think more and more people are becoming disillusioned regarding humanitarian intervention.
Now that Trump is somehow threatening us with bombing the electricity facilities. So
exactly.
I hope this will open their eyes. Some will not change. Taha says it was surprising. We haven't seen this maybe in our lifetime. But if we go through the pages of history, there were moments, especially those moments that were defining turning points in Iranian history. There were always, so to say, traitors and those who backed the imperial forces, the colonial forces. Maybe what is called by Fanon and Spivak, the native informants. They were, especially in these moments, they were very vocal because they were supported financially and militarily with the forces of empire. So this is, unfortunately, maybe the difference is that this time it's not the elite. It's not just one clan or two tribes here and there, but it's scattered through the geography of the country, in a sense, through the Western Farsi-speaking media that are designed to impact every home and every household.
Just let me add one other aspect that I think there's regarding the, as you said, there have been in history the similar incidents. For instance, this MEK supporting Saddam Hussein. Not only supporting, participating in the war against Iran, but they were isolated, right? They didn't have popular base. And also something that is very important, this time we're witnessing people supporting Israeli regime following the genocide in Gaza. And who can deny that everybody's aware of this genocide? It was online. no one can deny that this was happening. Like the children were like being burned alive. So now you're supporting this. This is next level, right? I mean, this is, I don't know how to call it.
Well, they are mesmerized by this window in their houses, Iran International especially. They really they are living in this parallel reality, in this parallel world that is very different from the reality, so to say. Like, for example, before the war started, I was in my hometown. I was talking to my cousins, and mostly in their homes, they watch this Iran International, and then no one knew about the Epstein files. Nothing, zero, null. Like they are portraying Netanyahu and Trump as different characters. Like even in legacy media, it's not like that. Like they don't portray them as the savior or the good guys in the Disney fantasies. But this is what Iran International is doing, and those people who are following these channels, they are basically set into that fantasy.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate all of that, and I had a lot of questions. I guess the most pressing thing in terms of this current war, this hot phase of it, let's say, is how is the response of the Iranian state, like the military wing, how is that, and the fact that it's still able to resist after 3 weeks of facing this like brutal fire, but also seeming to be getting, their own pretty significant blows in, not just on the entity, but dismantling American power in the region. And me being who I am, I honestly didn't see this coming. I knew theoretically about Hormuz. I was like, okay, Tangier Hormuz, sure, like you can close that. I never, even if I thought about it, I never thought of like what that would look like. Like I just was like, yeah, that's bad. That's a big weapon they can use. But I never actually thought it would get to this point and the consequences of just that move alone. But I'm curious though, is that in 12-Day War, we saw these people who were, you see like, who were obviously like maybe North Tehran kids, like kids who are like not the basis of the Islamic Republic, let's say, not exactly Shia nationalists. Like you saw these like young girls, no hijab, just like literally pounding their fists. And when I saw that, I said to myself, oh, this will never work. Like this will never work then. Like, look, they tried their move. They did this aggressive action, and the majority of Iranians didn't fall for it. They didn't, like if there was any time, if the regime change propaganda you hear so much about Iran was going to be true, it would be at moments like this. It would be at moments of crisis. And the fact is the opposite, at least from my perspective over here, and now mind you, I watch a lot of like state TV, so you can make the accusation, oh, you only see this rosy picture. But I also watch a lot of stuff online. It's not like for my various sort of views of Iran right now, it actually has had the opposite effect. It seems that it's consolidated people's support around the Islamic Republic way more than 12-Day War did. What 12-Day War feels like, to me at least, to those people who were like watching Iran International, it seemed like that was the first ring of the bell to those people, being like, you've been hypnotized. This is the enemy. You're helping the enemy by letting them into your brains and letting them like determine the kind of content you consume. But then they couldn't help themselves being so brutal during that war. But now they started with a war crime, killing these girls in Minab, and it's like just announcing how they're just going to be like, oh, you get now the treatment that Gaza and South Lebanon and Yemen, and you're just like them. And the fact that that didn't have the effect I think they thought it would have, that people would then spill into the streets. They would start doing what they were doing in January, but to a much larger extent, namely murdering people on the street and causing chaos and all that stuff. So like it seems like at least the plan, it didn't go to plan how this was going to be. So I'm curious, do you think that's like a correct, assessment? If that's like something, and if not, then what do you think? So has this had the opposite of the intended effect that they wanted in terms of not just the Iran's ability to respond, but also in terms of how Iranians feel about the Islamic Republic?
Well, I totally agree with your observation, and I see the same effect as you said. Actually, this war radicalized Iranian society as well as the state, Islamic Republic of Iran, even beyond my own expectation, which is embodied in this military response that like the IRGC and other like the Iranian armies like doing, right? I mean, showing that. And I mean, first of all, during the 12-day war, I was not here, but everybody, like many people, shared this observation that it had a very clear rally behind the flag effect. So it united Iranian people against the foreign enemy. And however, unfortunately, during this period until the ongoing war, this new phase of aggressive military assault on the country, we had this January incident. This played a huge role in dismantling or at least undermining that rally behind the flag effect, and it led to kind of a division among the society, right? But after this war happened, after the day, we see more and more people are becoming disillusioned, especially not those who are supporting Netanyahu or Trump, but particularly I'm talking about many people who might be not very happy concerning different policies, economic, social, cultural, whatever, of the Islamic Republic of Iran. They might be even involved in some protests against the state. However, they are again united. They are again supporting.
They are coming to the streets
Exactly.
at nights for the rallies now.
Yeah. But I think most importantly, one should mention that those people who are maybe the backbone of the resilience of the society, those people who are coming every night at this this squares in many cities. We are in Tehran, in many parts, many spaces. They are more radical than before. They are demanding. One of the slogans they're chanting is "No compromise, no surrender. We will fight with the United States." So that's what they're calling for, and they were calling out since the day they were mourning for their following the martyrdom of the supreme leader. So I think this martyrdom, particularly the martyrdom of the supreme leader, was a significant factor in radicalizing the society, and actually it helped those who have been always calling for more decisive responses inside the Islamic Republic of Iran to become more strong than before, and then it also helped isolating those who were always calling for negotiations, collaborations, normalization, blah, blah. And now they don't have that annoying voice anymore. This is very important. I mean, just imagine, we were in the middle of negotiations, then we were attacked in the 12-day aggressive war, and we were negotiating again this time, right? So, and these people were calling, yes, we should normalize, and despite the fact that all the observations across the region geopolitically were leading to this conclusion that we should expect another phase of military aggression. So, in coming back to your point, what we see now in Iran is that the system, both the military and political forces, are resilient, more united, and they support more decisive response. Why? Because they see this war as an existential war. So therefore, and I mean, you like rarely we observe a well-known or influential political figure calling for negotiations or compromising. I mean, everybody, like most of the people who have some a significant position, they are supporting this decisive retaliations against this the military aggression. And yeah, maybe you can.
Yeah, you were saying that this time maybe people are more united than the last time. I agree with what Taha says, that this time those people who always supported the Islamic Republic of Iran this war has shown that they were right, you know, like factually and logically, they were right. So more people are joining them. They are stronger in their arguments, of course. And maybe the difference between 12 days war, from what I observed, was that from the first day of war, 12-day war, you hear people were saying Netanyahu is crazy. Is Trump crazy? Why they are doing this to us? Like this feeling that well, those people are really crazy was getting to the skin of many people. So I would say they were maybe earlier on supporting their country and the state of their country. And as what Taha was saying, I'm not going to repeat what happened since then, especially what happened in January, created a minority in the country that I would say they are closest to what we call the people in Syria who were anti-Assad whatsoever. Even if, you know, Jolani comes in, they first say we need 10 minutes to celebrate that Assad is gone, even though Jolani is the new state in Syria. So I think we will have this small portion of Iranian society for a very long time, that the January events changed them structurally. Really, it's like the new, you know, I don't know how to put it in the words, like their brain is somehow differently, like switched in a different way since January. So I think we've lost this portion of the society for now, even though their leader is assassinated, even though their high officials are assassinated, and this is illegal. No matter whatsoever problem that we have inside the country, these are very brutal, illegal, and imperial colonial acts that they are doing to us. This is not going to change that small portion, but the rest, I think every night that we went outside, more and more people as you said, who do not maybe believe in hijab, do not believe maybe in Islam, but they are joining the crowd and the scores.
And they're chanting Allahu Akbar. Maybe they don't believe in like Islam,
yes.
but they're chanting Allahu Akbar. They're chanting Haydar, Haydar, meaning like Imam Ali's powerful, and we will respond. So it's really fascinating.
There are like also very emotional moments. The night that there was a memorial for those who were killed in Mina, there were some national anthems going on, and then some of the population on the square who were of the more religious background didn't know the song. So the others that joined them later, those who are religious, started to sing like Vatanam, 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 and songs like this. And after the song ended, these more religious people were hugging this newcomers, so to say, and give their flags as a gift to them, like welcome to us, to our rallies. And there were like a lot of moments like this. So we are hopeful in that sense, in that regard. We are hopeful that the society is going to come together and defend Iran in the first place. Many people now realize, well, you oppose your state, okay, it's good to have a state to oppose, right? What's going to come, we don't know what's going to come. It's going to be disintegration, it's going to be long periods of instability, loss of civil infrastructure, and this is not something that the majority of Iranian would call for or defend.
Exactly. I just want to add that Sara said that, we need a strong state to respond, to defend the country. And also, we need a strong indigenously developed military forces, and particularly IRGC, and the same organization that was being attacked and under this designation of terrorist organization. And Iranian people are right now proud of the IRGC, in addition to Iranian army. And they're proud of the missiles that are like indigenous product under sanctions, under all the pressures that we are firing against US military bases. Look, we are fighting with the most powerful war machine, most likely during the whole modern history.
And winning.
Exactly. And winning. So right now, as you mentioned, regarding this opposite effects of the intentions of the war, there were some people, political faction, and also political figures before this war who were pushing or pressuring the establishment to consider maybe compromising enrichment, uranium enrichment, maybe accepting zero enrichment or suspension of enrichment, at least for a while, for sanctions lifting. Right now, what we hear is, first, why not moving from the latent nuclear deterrence to actual nuclear deterrence? There are some voices calling for it. And look, it's important to notice this, that our supreme leader is martyred. His fatwa is open to be reconsidered by his son, the new supreme leader. So this is a significant possibility. And also, we are in existential war. So and we have this 400 kilogram highly enriched uranium. So there are at least some voices who are calling for we should move towards weaponization before, before getting this, how can I say that, like the horror nuclear attack, right? And regarding the sanctions, instead of compromising our nuclear facilities, people are saying that, look, we should control Strait of Hormuz and they should lift sanctions. Otherwise, we will keep the control of it. So, I mean, this is how we have achieved, how can I say that, something that we were like willing to compromise our nuclear facilities to achieve. Now we're now we are at the point that through our military capabilities and also the resilience of the society, we can achieve something very significant for the country. So that's the dominant feeling that you can see here and there.
Yeah, I just want to give you maybe an example of history. When we did nationalize oil in 1951, it was the Brits who closed the Strait of Hormuz for us. They didn't let any food to come in. They didn't let our oil to be sold, and the country was in ruins in 2 years. Then we had the coup in 1953. So from that moment, it's almost 80 years. 80 years passed. We had a revolution, a popular revolution, a revolution that in many believes that changed the world. And since then, we developed a indigenous military industry that now is closing the Strait of Hormuz and crippling the European and Western economies. So even if they think they can nuke us, if they think they can destroy our civil infrastructure, we are going to rise again, and again. I don't know why they do not learn from their experiences in the history with Iranian people. Well, they don't learn, of course, with many other peoples. And they have their playbooks. They think it's going to work every time. It's not working with people who believe in resistance. I don't know if you've seen on Quds Day, the Israeli media started to say that people have to evacuate the exact spots that the rally was going on. Well, people, of course, came in, and there were 2 blasts. I don't know if you've seen the footages. Instead of getting scared or running away from the explosion site, people were just moving in the direction that they were supposed to move. The Israelis wanted to create this image that they are, it's Quds Day, first of all, it's a day for Palestine. They are going to, bomb some places, people are going to run away, and these images, these footages is going to be what they want in the Western media, also in this Farsi-speaking media, that see, they are running away. No one ran away. Even the state officials were on that rally. So this is the people of Iran, and I don't know why they do not want to see the reality. All these Middle Eastern studies, all these so-called leftist institutions who studied Iran, I do not want to name figures, but these people tried to categorize Iranian people within European social science framework, political science frameworks, try to put Iranian in the theories which were developed according to the European societies. Now they are trapped. Their facing a society that they cannot even understand. I saw this on German media, that they are like, what's going on? Why these people, do not run away? Why these people do not loot their supermarkets? Why everything looks normal while bombs are dropping on their cities? And I think this is going to be a turning point, no matter what's the result of this stage of the war. This event, what's happening in West Asia now, is going to change the world forever.
No, I agree. That was very good. I don't want to keep. I know it's aid time, so I don't want to keep you guys too long. I do want to say though something is that, like, what they don't understand, and this is something that is not just like a Westoid problem. It's not just like a Westoid brain issue. It's also people, I think Iranians themselves don't get this, especially people like me who grew up in the West, who grew up disconnected from actual Iranians in the millions, and instead were exposed to diaspora weirdos and like people who, even if they're not anti-Iranian state, if they're not anti-Islamic Republic, they themselves were disconnected long ago from Iran. Like even my own family, you get this sense that they just left the country, and the memories that they took with them, maybe before the revolution, maybe after, but I feel like there's probably a lot of diaspora people who took those memories, that bitterness, and that bitterness stayed with them, and it grew and grew and it grew, and it resulted in them, like going and marching the night after Khamenei was martyred, like taking to the streets. There was a rally in Toronto, obviously organized by stupid fascist Zionists. And people went by the thousands, and they felt like, I'm in a community of people who are celebrating this guy's murder. But here's the thing. This is what I was going back to at the beginning of my point. What they've done is essentially, the imperialists, that they've started a competition with the Islamic Republic, which is to say, they started in a mourning competition, like who can mourn the best. And if you think you're gonna win against religious, nationalist, Shia Muslims, okay, like you really think you're gonna win in like a mourning contest, like you're not gonna win, because the more you try to win by killing them, the more they mourn, and that mourning crystallizes into revenge, or at least a desire for it. So we're like 500 years ago, it was like the Safavids, right? It was like the Safavids who brought Shia Islam and basically enforced it upon the people. 5 centuries later, we are still here, and like that story you told about, like people chanting, hey dad, hey dad, hey dad, like it's playing on TV here. When I listen to it, I start like getting into it. Like it's like some software is like lying dormant inside of Iranians. It's been like hard coded into us like some crazy Y2K bug. And when they attack you unjustly and you wait for an attack, then you feel it in your throats. You feel this like Stuxnet inside of you activating, and that Stuxnet is like Shia Islam. And it's like this feeling of like, oh wow, we were like stabbed in the back. We were like putting forward the hand of negotiation, and you're stabbed in the back by these people, and then they murder you, and they murder hundreds of schoolgirls just to flex on you. Like that. Like if your goal is to enrage as many Iranians as possible, this is what you do. But for me, watching all of this from outside the country, and also from like the West too, which is celebrating this, you just get this feeling of like, you seriously think this is going to work on Iranians. You think this is what's going to get them to overthrow their government, which is like the only goal they can really do, because they can't bomb the country into submission. Like that's not going to work as clearly as it's not showing. Like bomb them more, and 20 like you kill 5 Iranians, 25 more stand up, or like, okay, my turn to die. Like you can't stop that. You can't bomb that into not existing. So then your only hope is creating these divisions in society, which then consume from the inside. that may have worked in other countries, but it's having the opposite effect. So January, obviously, and maybe we should do a separate episode about January, because I do feel like that has been lost in all of our conversations. Definitely for me, like I'm focused so much on the war now that I forget that there is this insane 2-night bloodletting ceremony of Iranians, like a Qurbani festival of Iranians in the name of regime change. Like, and they like were like proudly showing how they're helping over here, saying that, oh, a Mossad agent is walking, like that this was just supposed to be the beginning of all of this, and war and killing Khamenei was supposed to be a series of events. But for different reasons, that it hasn't gone to script for the imperialists. And it's just, you know, listening to you guys is very heartening. And I want to also say to people, like, and this is something that's been rattling in my mind, is as brutal as it is to see the images of like the destruction of Iranian cities and the bombs and stuff, because that's part of the game here too, is that they drop these crazy bombs, usually like out in like the sticks somewhere, sometimes in the cities too, but they drop these crazy bombs which kick off a lot of smoke and dust, and they give this sense of apocalypse. We can press the apocalypse button on you. And, you know, you get the sense that like that's done to intimidate, that's done to actually like, you know, like any military purpose of dropping these bombs is stupid. Like, what's the point? It's expensive. You know, it takes all these resources. You can't make many of these bombs, but they drop them for the psychological effect, not for the military effect. But, you know, I get the sense, at least from here, that if any country in the region is better poised to rebuild, it's Iran. Like, that's it. Like, Iran has the people, it has the education, it has the natural resources, it has the space, right? It's a huge country. Like, it's a massive, massive country, and huge swaths of it are empty where you can, you know, build stuff and you can, you know, do stuff in it, and you can, you know, it's not like, this is not a small, landlocked, impoverished, broken country. This is a fortress of a nation filled with 90 million certifiably crazy people who will not stop down, like, who will not kneel to anyone. You know, like, Iranians are like, I'm recognizing in this moment, like, oh, this is why we're crazy, because like they built us for moments like this. Like, this is why Iranians are the way they are. This is why we yell so much at like Mehmoni. Like, family gatherings are just like a shouting festival. Like, you understand now, like, oh, it was hardwired into us culturally to be like this. Because if you didn't have this response in you of like, you bombed my country, I'm gonna fucking destroy you. Like, if you don't have that in you, then how do you face down imperialists? Like, that's my question. Like, you have to, because if you don't, they'll consume you. I mean, they took Baghdad in 3 weeks. Think about that. Like, they got to Baghdad in 3 weeks. Iran is chasing them out of the Indian Ocean, the Persian Gulf. Like, so there's a material difference to Iranian statecraft, let's say. Not Iraq versus Iranians. I feel Iraqis are just as resistant as Iranians. They didn't have the material benefits that Iran has. It doesn't have the people, the number of people. And on top of that, it didn't have fucking Saddam Hussein dragging the country into destructive wars for decades, you know, that made the country impossible to defend. So I'm feeling more positive. I'm feeling like better about Iran's future than ever before. If only because I feel like, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, the situation before 2026 was completely untenable. Like, those sanctions were killing the country. Like, they really were. They were killing, just talking to people, my relatives. You could feel the sense of like, what is the dollar today? Like, what is the dollar? Like, and you got the sense, like, how can people go on like this? How can they, you know, because they saw what happened in Syria. Syrians were, after 15 years of war and 3 years of choking sanctions, it did them in. Like, it just did them in. You know, you can't, you can't stop that. So I was really depressed in January. Most of January, I was like really gone of worry, just worry, because I saw what happened. I saw like, holy fuck, they did like a Maidan. They did a whole fucking Maidan attack the size of Iran. Like, you're telling me they took Maidan, which was one city, one part of one city, and they did it the whole country? Like, so for me, watching it was like anguishing. And of course, over here, they were running crazy stories of 30,000 dead, 50,000 dead, 90,000 dead, and the currency stuff. So I don't know. It's been up and down for me these last few months. But I will say, I mean, sure, my seat is comfortable. I don't have bombs raining down on me, as you guys do. But I will say that from here, at least, it feels like finally some kind of dam has been broken for Iranians. And the feeling of being choked, like if Iranians are going to be choked, fuck it, the whole world gets choked. Like let us be Iranian too, finally, over here. Like, let us understand sanctions. So that's my kind of general read of the situation. I'll let you guys have the final say. We should probably wrap up soon. You guys have lots to do, but I'm curious what you have to say about that. And also, maybe too, and maybe I can clip this. Maybe we can do this separately. But if you had a message for those dancing fascist psychos, like Iranians, like what would it be? Like, what would you have to say if they could hear something from you right now? Like the ones who were saying, "Oh, this is chemotherapy," like, "Oh, this is good for the country. It's better than anything. There's no worse situation than right now," or something. That's the kind of stuff you hear over here.
First of all, I should tell this that I personally share your feeling, the positive feeling regarding the future of Iran, also the outcome of this war. And okay, I'm in Tehran, and we are sleeping here, and we are waking up by the explosion sounds, right? I mean, but we see this resilience of the people, and we are very optimistic. I want to come back to your first question in this show, that you talked about the intention of the war and the opposite effect. I think it totally backfired. What have been achieved through what I call imperialist hybrid war, like a synergetic fusion of sanctions, psychological warfare, cyber attack, assassinations, some military operations, they were pretty much successful, as we have seen in January insurrection. And it's almost gone, right? It's almost gone, and we don't see any sign of regime change, or like so-called people coming to streets, those like talks or terrorists, or like even pro-Pahlavi monarchists, reactionaries, and you don't see them. And what you see is that the people who believe in Imam Hussein, who believe in martyrdom, they're taking the lead of resisting against foreign intervention. They're the most progressive part of the society. This is very important, and it's, I think, most likely difficult to comprehend from Orientalist or Western epistemological standpoint. But these are the most progressive ones. I'm talking from...
I just want to add something. In my idea, I think the whole January, I call it urban war, was to create martyrs for the other part of society, because this kind of idea of martyrdom and being with the oppressed, being with the ones who are killed unjustly, is in the backbone of every Iranian, even if they claim they are not Shia, even if they claim they have cut their ties with the religion. This has been like coded, as you said, in every Iranian. So the plan was to create the same storyline for those who think that they do not belong to the whole society, the whole Iranian Shia society. It did work for some time, But now, when you assassinate the leader of this religious, as Taha calls them, the progressive part of this, of today, I believe those who were opposing this, those who were saying that the murderers are those who were killed in January, they feel the sorrow of the other part. They are not going to come to the streets, because the other thing that we have as Shia Iranians is respect the sorrow, respect the sadness of others. So I think this is also something that they didn't calculate when they were planning January to be the beginning of this assassination, and then people coming to the streets. We respect the sorrow of the others.
So what we see now, like the state demonstrates political cohesion, and even the government, who were not like, I mean, I was pretty much critical to Pezeshkian government, but they're doing far better now than before the war, regarding even economic management, economic policies and all. And regarding the military forces, both in defense and offense, we are doing great, and we are going more offensive. And so I think, I mean, for us, the enemy is desperate. So they're now, I mean, because they thought they will assassinate the leader, there will be political destabilization and people coming to the street and blah, blah, but this didn't came true. And now they're threatening and like striking more residential areas and infrastructures, which will actually also backfire, because more people will be aware of the nature of this enemy, right? So it will lead to, again, rally behind the flag effect, right? So this will be the outcome. And I mean, I don't see any like successful end for the enemy in this war. So that's why, despite the bombardment, despite like the blow that we are getting as well, right? There is this feeling that the enemy will be defeated. And also, I want to mention this, that like we were hearing many voices, particularly in the global north, but also in the region, critical to Islamic Republic of Iran, who were accusing Iran that instrumentalizing the resistance forces in the region. They're not fighting against imperialism and Zionism, and they're doing this and that. Look, now everybody, I mean, it's very difficult to deny that Islamic Republic of Iran is the strong fortress of resistance. And we are demonstrating, I mean, we are the most powerful resistance force against the genocidal regimes. And this is, as a matter of fact, I mean, no one can deny that. So this is a turning point, hopefully, I mean, politically, geopolitically, also epistemologically. And yeah, just lastly, I want to mention that like we talked about our own experience. We went to the city together with the other people. We started mourning, but we initiated something. We thought, okay, we should do something. We gathered together with some other friends, and we tried to produce some narratives from the city, like trying to engage with the people who did not think that this is a war against the country. So we started talking about patriotic defense, national defense, and because this is part of the cognitive warfare that particularly following the January insurrection, among these people, that the war is not against Iran, it's against Islamic Republic of Iran. We try to contribute in that, and we started producing some videos, and we're doing this. And I think this is important to acknowledge and to understand that those who are supporting the enemy, they will be doomed. That's, we're calling them Shaban Bimokh, you know, those talks, who supported this coup in 1953. So you can come back to the history and look, we had this Dr. Fatemi, who were sentenced to death, were nationalists, fought against, together with Mossadegh, fought against the colonial forces. And you had Shaban Bimokh. You know, Bimokh means no brain, right? I mean, or colonized brain, you can say, like no indigenous brain. So they're already defeated by the resisting nation. So this is my message to those people, particularly in those who are living in Western countries. They are not deserve to live in Iran. They are not deserve to come back to the country and see this beautiful country. So they will be doomed to live as desperate.
Yes, Taha was saying we try to do what we can do at this moment. It's not a time to write papers. It's not a time to, you know, get into fancy discussions in conference rooms. It's time to go on the streets. So we decided to go on the streets. We have our phone as a camera with us, and we try to talk. We try to defend our country, at least in words. We cannot go do the real fight. So this is what we are trying to do with some friends. Most of them have lived in Western countries and returned to Iran in the last few years. And we know the diaspora. So we also talk to the diaspora, usually in Farsi. But maybe what I can say in English to these people is that try to see the reality. What you are seeing is far from the reality of this country and these people. The thing that you were mentioning, the fear of the Basiji guys who may have said something to them, and like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or have done something like, I don't know, jailed them for hijab or something. That has changed. This is not the country. You are living a Disney wasteland. This is not Iran. Iran is a thriving, developed country with people who are living with each other, with different ideas, with different like beliefs, with many different stratas of the society living together. And this you don't know. Just try to educate yourself and be proud to be Iranian. And those images that you have from those guys in the past, actually, we feel safe when we see them these nights on the streets, when we see these guys that they are somehow protecting our neighborhoods from the terrorists, from the thugs, that we see them, they are like, they simply have their lives on their hand because the Zionist genocidal forces are finding them and attacking them wherever they are. But still they are on the streets with their guns, defending the Iranian women and men every night. So just try to see the reality. Forget about the Disneyland you see on this media.
Sara, Taha, thank you very much. This was a great conversation. Please stay safe. Please, I hope we can do more of these. I'm going to plug you into all the shows I produce, so I hope you're getting ready to do more of these interviews. But please, thank you for your time, and we appreciate you guys coming on and sharing what's been going on. And stay safe. So thank you.